Hello guys, this is UniversalGiant and let's play Pokémon Pinball for the Game Boy Color. I don't know why I said let's play, this is probably not going to be any longer than 2 videos, but regardless, it's a fun little game for the Game Boy Color that I enjoyed the hell out of when I was younger, and I just feel like showing off both of these boards. I guess we'll start with Red. Red's my favorite, and I haven't met anybody who doesn't love the Red board, even though I love the blue version when I was younger, and blue version is the version I played when I was younger, so I inherently like blue. But I like the red board more than I like the blue board. It's Pokemon Pinball. I suppose everybody who had a Game Boy, who loved the first generation, has played this game before, so there isn't necessarily too much for me to talk about. I mean, there are a lot of interesting mechanics on the boards that I could explain, but I don't know why I'm calling these boards instead of tables. They're pinball tables! But, I mean, if these games last long enough that I can explain all of the nuances of the little things I do to get myself points and keep myself alive, I suppose I'll get to them. But just the atmosphere of this game, and particularly the music, if nothing else, the music in this game just keeps me so happy. It's so cheery! Even the music that plays when you lose the ball is cheery. Listen to that! But I think you'll find, if you've never played this game before, it is a bit outdated. It's not the greatest pinball game in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but if you're a fan of Pokemon, it's fun as hell. And if I could ever get to the catch mechanic, we could actually get this thing started. I almost said get the ball rolling, but that would have been too... what's the word for it? Too cliche, too something. Too much of a bad pun, I guess. And I am doing absolutely terribly. This is what happens when you hit the record button, isn't it? If I spend less than 10 minutes on a table, I think I'll just go for another go. Because I'd like to show off at least a little bit of the table, maybe? Like, maybe catch a Pokemon or something? That would be nice! I'd very much like to do that, but the game apparently doesn't want me to. And that's the biggest the biggest problem with this game I've found is the glitchiness. Especially when the ball comes down from one of those arches over to the side, or when it just sticks to the paddle and goes through it like it did there. That if that ever happens and the ball just goes straight through the paddle, or fires it straight down into the gap where you have nothing to do about it, hey, it's a Machop, then there's not much you can do about it, and it's just a pain in the ass. But we can now catch a Pokemon! We have to flip over 6 of those tiles by hitting the little Voltorbs up there, and if we flip all 6 of them over, we have access to that Machop, who appears randomly in the area that we're on. All of the Pokemon that appear here are indeed based on where you are in the world, which is set first when you come into the game, where it was flipping through a number of different venues that you could possibly be in. But we do have the opportunity to change where we are as well, which I do hope to show off, because it shouldn't take that long. But once you reveal the 6 tiles and you hit the Pokemon 4 times, you catch it! And it is yours forever. Until the game is over, in which case you can lose it and it's gone for good. But it does keep track of what Pokemon you've caught, and even what Pokemon you've seen if you haven't had a chance to catch them. And the game does have a Pokedex like that, it's kind of interesting. But there are a lot of other mechanics on this board I'd like to show off as we get to them. I mean, I could spend so much time just talking about how the things on the table works, which is what I'm going to do after we start this one over, because we've only been here 4 minutes, and I don't know about you, but I haven't had enough of this table yet. So let's start over again and pretend that never happened. And here we're starting off in Pallet Town, which means we might get ourselves a couple of starters. I'm very excited for that. But a lot of the time, you'll notice that Pikachu, if you hit it in the head with the ball, will save your Pokeball by firing it upwards with a bolt of electricity. In order to get that bolt of electricity, you have to charge up the electric symbol above Bellsprout's head, and you do that by moving around the flipper. It's a little nuance from the board that a lot of people don't necessarily pick up on. But that's indicated by the little electric symbol that'll appear on the bottom of the screen as well. which you may or may not have seen. And if I can get the cave, we can unlock a bonus, or a slot. And if we go in there, we can get a number of different kinds of bonuses. I'm not hoping for the small, because the small is a very small bonus that doesn't necessarily help anything too much. But you'll find if I'm at the top of my game, I'll be getting a lot of slots, just because they're very easy to get. And the bonus multiplier gives it doesn't multiply your bonus multiplier by 4, it gives you a +4 to your multiplier, so if you're at, say, 50, it'll go up to 54. There we go, let's see what kind of starter we got. It's a Pidgey! I don't go to Pallet Town to get myself a Pidgey. But I suppose we might as well get ourselves a Pidgey. Because I used one in Fire Red, and we might as well just stick with it, I guess. But depending on which flipper you use, if you use the right flipper, you'll notice a lot of the things on the board will go to the right. Like Pikachu will move, the lights under Cave will move, and the lights above the Voltorbs will move as well, depending on what flipper you're using. And you do also have the ability to tilt the table. So if you hit the... I have it set to the directional buttons. I believe you could set it to be whatever you want. But if you light up all of the lights above the Voltorbs, you get a field multiplier, which is indicated by what kind of Pokeball you're using. And just like the regular game, you could go from a Pokeball to a Great Ball, an Ultra Ball, and a Master Ball. But the funny thing about it in this game is that although they are called in English Great Ball, Ultra Ball, and Master Ball, you'll see on the blue one here that's supposed to be a Great Ball, it was a Super Ball in Japanese, which is why it has an S above it. And in case we never get to see what an Ultra Ball looks like, that'll have an H because it was called a Hyper Ball in Japanese. I'm not quite sure why they didn't do the simple, like, couple of pixel changes and I didn't react fast enough to bounce my ball out of the pit. But there are a lot of other interesting nuances to this game that we'll get into when we get to the blue board. There's just so much about this game. I mean, it's so simple, but it just brings back so many fond memories, and I guess that's the thing I like most about Let's Playing in the first place. They just bring back so many good memories. I mean, even listening to the music here, or just playing the game again, makes me feel so happy. And it's that kind of feeling that I hope to share with you guys. But what I did there is I shot my ball up the left side of the big archway 3 times, hit up the letters EVO, sent it up again, and you can see Ditto moved out of the way. Now we can start trying to evolve our Pidgey! Which we do by giving it experience. Now we can unlock the experience by hitting any of the things indicated by the arrows. In this case, it was the Diglett's head. Unfortunately, only 3 of them will actually yield experience. One of them will be a dud or something. And after that, you can either wait out the 10 seconds like I did, or you can try firing the ball up either sides of the archway. Either will get you access to the other arrow-indicated areas where you can get the experience from. And you need 3 bits of experience in order to evolve, or if you're evolving based on something like a stone, then you'll be collecting stones instead of experience. Which is actually smart. I'm glad they did it that way. But you can see we only have 2 more spots that we can get the experience from, and if you still have a second left, what I like to do is just let the ball fall if the experience appears at the top of the archway so I get it on my way in. Just saves me time, but the ball saver's only going to be there for the first second of the first minute of the evolution, so you don't want to do that if you don't have the ball saver. And of course that's indicated by the blue saver icon at, at the top of the pit. I don't know what you want to call that. The Diglett is really annoying to hit. And I wasn't paying attention again! So Pidgey didn't evolve. It has been forever since I have played this badly. Which is kind of disappointing. But what are you gonna do? Maybe we can get evolution mode again. Nope, we just get another 30-second ball saver, which we had since we just started another ball. I don't think the ball saver is stacked that way. But again, the reason why Pikachu didn't save my ball that time was because we didn't have his electric power charged up. And one of the most helpful slot bonuses that you can get out of the slot bonus is the Pikachu one, which ensures that as long as your ball is active, Pikachu will be 100% charged up and constantly flipping between the left and the right side, so it's almost impossible for him not to save your ball if he happens to get a hold of it like he did there. And Nidoran Male looks so adorable in this game. Just look at him! He's so adorable! Sometimes if you get lucky, you can get Nidoran or the ball stuck on top of the Pokemon, so it just sits on top of him and registers the hit 4 times. But if I'm stuck like that, and I know I'm going to lose the ball if I don't do something, I just try to tilt the board in opposite the direction that I do not want the ball to go. And that usually works. It won't always work, but if you've played this game long enough, you get a feel for what the glitchiness is, and you take advantage of it as best you can. I think that's the best way I can describe how I've gotten somewhat decent at the game, he says after he's already lost 5 balls in the span of 10 minutes. But we've got ourselves another Pokemon. And with that, we've opened up another slot. Now, the annoying thing about the slot is that it has a gravity well around it, which means anything that goes near that flashing circle around the slot is drawn into it. And you'd expect this to be a good thing, but more often than not, it'll deflect the ball in a direction that you don't want it to go, namely deflecting it straight down the middle of the chute, and you won't be able to retrieve the ball. But here we get our first bonus game, and this one is exclusive to the red board as well. The Diglett stage. And in order to clear this one, you have to hit all of the Diglets without losing the ball. Once, you do not have an opportunity to lose the ball, but on the opposite side of that coin, there's no time limit, so you can take as much time as you need here, so be super duper careful. Unfortunately, if the ball goes straight down the center of the chute, you have nothing to do about it, and you don't get any points for the bonus. But that's the thing. And there are also table-exclusive Pokemon, just like there were in the original Red and Blue, that you can only get certain kinds of Pokemon in either Red or Blue, but they're called version exclusives. We've covered a lot of them. There were similar ones in Gold and Silver. The same is true for the pinball game. And unfortunately, that's going to do it for the red table because I suck! Next time on Pokémon Pinball, we'll tackle the blue table. See you then.